They're humanizing themselves, making it personal by showing as many faces as they can. Look at all these people who aren't Linus. Look at how many of us aren't Linus. We're not just him. We're not just him. Ah! After it was publicly announced by Linus that he was hiring me, without my knowledge or consent, hot gossip just dropped. Linus enslaved the woman. I purposefully cut my leg open so badly I would have to go to the ER to get it stapled back together. Alright, do the copper react? Wait, what do you mean by copper react? Presumably you mean Linus Tech Tips. It's hard to decide what to do first. So there is a Linus Media Group CEO-centric response to the Gamers Nexus video. There is, however, also a set of tweets by an ex-employee alleging various things, and a tweet response to those allegations. I think we start with the video. I'm not sure the exact chronology because it doesn't tell you exactly when this video was uploaded. I think at the very least this video and the tweets were made at similar times. I'm not sure exactly which one happened first. I want to take a peep at this. This might be boring as fuck because this is where they play it safe. Having said that, I think they only play it relatively safe, because I saw that people were upset with this video. So we'll see how it goes.
I think Luke put it best at the roast a few years ago when he said,
"Why the f*** are you here?"
That's a two-part answer. I'm speaking today because of the recent community outcry demanding change. I'm here because I agree with the community. We do have a lot of work to do. Before we talk about that, while I wish us on better terms, I just want to say I'm very glad to meet you all.
Is he using the NVIDIA AI feature that makes it so that you're always looking at the camera when you're actually not looking into the camera? There's something eerie about this.
I have spent the last couple of decades on the corporate side, but my educational background is in computer science. My first role in the tech industry was as the writer at Seeker. My history building gaming PCs.
A writer and knee seeker? Why do I give a fuck? What do you mean? I don't need your life story. We're not gonna date. What the?
History building gaming PCs goes even further back to when I built
I know he's the CEO. What are you gonna do? Wait, has he never introduced himself before? Oh, is this the like, I'm not a dumb fuck like Linus. I'm different. I'm different to Linus. Don't worry, all that shit was Linus. CEOs do this, it's very standard. Standard doesn't mean it's cool. Standard doesn't mean I want to fucking hear it. I don't give a fuck what's standard.
Celeron 300A rig because everyone assured me it was guaranteed to overclock to 450 megahertz. I guess my trip didn't really get the memo. In any case, it feels really good to be back on most days. I'm only 6 weeks into the job, but in that time I've seen a lot. I've looked at some budgeting, some team building, and operations. But my main focus has been to be a fly on the wall and gain an understanding of what's going right and what's going wrong. There's a lot of both. I've asked the team to unflinchingly address both the concerns that have been raised and how we intend to fix them.
This is how they're gonna deal with it. There's a new CEO. He's only been around for 6 weeks. So the year range given by Gamers Nexus, they're going, oh, but look, our CEO's only been here for 6 weeks, so we can turn it around. And hey, maybe we'll have to see what they say.
With the money we'll make from our sponsor.
Just kidding. I was asked for unflinching, and here it is. Linus is a human gas molecule. You've been telling him for years, and I've been telling him for years. Staying relevant on YouTube is hard for everyone, but we aren't fighting for survival anymore, and we don't.
What the fuck is this weird fucking video? No, this isn't standard. This shit is not standard. A CEO introducing himself is standard in some context, particularly if they're gonna be introducing positive changes, maybe. It makes some degree of sense with him being so new, right? But I don't think they're doing it for the sake of adhering to standard practice or something. This is we're people, throw the people. Wait, how many people are gonna show up in this? There's Yvonne. Oh my fuck. Strategy, humanize us. Humanize ourselves. Humanize. Meat. Throw the meat in the way. We're people.
But we aren't fighting for survival
Hard for
anymore, and we
everyone.
don't need to run at this pace. In fact, in some ways, it's our efforts to keep doing more and keep doing better that have created our current situation. My background is in managing a farm.
Spin, 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 spin. This is literally a different way of saying what Gamers Nexus said. Although she has included that they don't need to do it anymore. That implies change, right? That implies slowing it down so they fix it. However, the way this is presented suggests they had to work like that. They had to do quantity over quality. They had to in the past, but don't have to now. So what they're saying is, we did nothing wrong, but it will get better, right? We had to do that. We had to do things like that, but now we don't.
Where the small details matter a lot. And basically, I agree with the community, so I'm putting my foot down. Effective immediately, all YouTube video production is on pause. And our teams are going to be spending this entire next week focusing on long-term workflow changes to make our content better. And
That's good. That could be good. That's fine. I'm not going to watch them, so I don't actually care that much. I care more about the, interesting. I just enjoy how people try to strategize and do these things. Drama, if you will. I enjoy looking at, what's the trend in we fucked up videos. It just entertains me. So if you actually care about Linus tech tips, this could be good news. You'll know objectively, did they actually stop pumping out videos because they won't have any videos out for this next week. So that's actually pretty good because it's super measurable. They say they're going to not put out videos for a week, at least. You'll see them not put out videos for a week. That doesn't mean they're definitely doing things right behind the scenes to fix their workflow, but at least part of that is measurable. And with so much of the problem ostensibly coming from working too hard to pump things out, it does give a signal that they're serious about changing their perspective and approach. Right. Okay, that's fair enough. Don't like the slimy start by her that this is essentially saying, oh, we had to do things like that, but now we don't.
this means for the first time in over 12 years, LTT will be missing not just one daily upload, but many. But improving to the degree that we want and need is going to take more than a week. So I'll be working with Taryn and Colton to manage our sponsor commitments and the financial hit of both this housekeeping week and a reduction in our LTT upload schedule. At least for now, while we get our house in order. But before anyone gets concerned that we're going to cut investment.
You don't think she said that? Why would she say we don't need to do that anymore, if they never needed to? She talked about the struggle for relevance and how they don't need to do that anymore. That would mean potentially that for a while they were doing it for no good reason, but the reason it happened was necessity, is what saying that means.
Into the well-being of our personnel and our future capabilities, I can assure you that I've read the criticisms that we weren't willing to spend $500 to test a product, and as the one that manages the finance, I can tell you that couldn't be further from the truth. Linus made a clear and egregious judgment error regarding retesting a product he felt was impractical. That was wrong.
Good.
And I've told him so.
Good.
He allowed his personal feelings on the matter to cloud his judgment.
Whip him.
And I want to stress that our organization is committed to our ongoing investments in making our content better. And we will do better as a team. Why don't I let our chief money spender take it from here?
Hi, I'm Gary, head of labs. First off, we've made some mistakes. Too many. We're hoping that it's how we deal with them moving forward that will define who we are. And regardless, it's clear that we need to serve you better. So our team will be spending our...
This is overall very, very probably going to be very effective, though. CEO comes in and says, I've only been here 6 weeks, guys, and now they're humanizing themselves, making it personal by showing as many faces as they can, and they're saying it's wrong. They're just saying, oh, it's fucked, yeah, we're going to fix it, it's fucked, we're going to fix it, committing to something that demonstrates they are going to go quality over quantity by having that week of no videos. That's like a clear, measurable sign, like I said. Okay. If you want a hero to root for or something like that, X-Maced, they got caught, they will fix it. If it would have kept going like this without them getting caught, you can be like, oh, they're only doing it because they got caught. But if all you care about is having quality content on YouTube, getting caught is fine as long as the people who'll catch you out exist. If you look at it as an ecosystem type deal. I ain't looking at their shit though, because I'm not tuned in enough, dialed in enough. Maybe they'll get better and then slip into it again. I don't know. I don't fucking know. New CEO could be better. Might not be better. I don't know. I am not a tech expert. I've just seen, oh God, they did some pretty egregious, fucked stuff that would have misled me. I'm staying away from them because I wouldn't be able to catch them slipping back, even if they did get better.
Week publishing living documents for our testing standards and opening them up to feedback from the community and our peers in the industry, should they wish to participate. We will also task part of the team with going back through every video with labs data to ensure accuracy, make full corrections, and if there are any fundamental issues with the workflow design or results, pull or replace that video outright. I don't agree with every criticism that's been leveled at my team, but...
Oh, say which ones you don't agree with, or you're a pussy. Say them! Is he going to say them? Should we do a bet?
For my part, I need to own what we've done wrong and lay out our action plan for how to move forward. Before I do that, one point I do need to address here is that Linus misspoke when he said we retest for every video. We retest for every project. When we use the same data for our RX 7600 and RTX 4060 Ti videos, we knew in advance that these cards would release 2 days apart and designed a broad test suite that accounted for all the numbers we would need to make those 2 videos and ran everything at once with no BIOS or driver changes. In fairness to Linus, the project to video ratio is normally 1:1, but the devil's in the details. Now,
I have no means of figuring out if that's true or not. I'll be interested to see if the tech people know that it's, like, is he being too generous to himself or not? I am having memory problems. Let me peep something.
One point I do need to address here is that Linus misspoke when he said we retest for every video.
Was that Linus? I might just be completely wrong. Was it Linus who said that? I thought it was the weird bald guy with a beard. Am I crazy? Am I out of my mind? And then Linus supported what was said or dealt with the backlash because of what was said about other people. Or was it Linus said it and then someone else said, unlike other people?
New tests.
Yeah, this don't look like Linus to me. This is going to be the start of the Gamers Nexus video just because the clip is here.
A few days ago, this clip from an LTT lab tour got a lot of attention online.
The difference between us and somebody like Gamers Nexus or Hardware Unboxed is we test new components, new tests every time.
So that wasn't Linus.
Even though it's not actually true, they don't collect new data and new tests every single time.
And then Linus talks about this, but does he say?
It's not always necessary anyway.
Well, maybe Hobo, that guy didn't say every video. He said every time. Maybe Linus does say that quote, but I don't remember it.
On the WAN show, and then said
so
the
I'm gonna
following.
watch quickly.
There's a fair number of people that are talking about the whole Trust Me Bro situation, where there were some creators that it seems like you guys are... Look.
What? Yeah, this is something else. Yeah, it's weird. The clip I remember, the clip people were talking about, the one where it became like an attack on other people.
A few days ago, this clip from an LTT lab tour got a lot of attention online.
The difference between us and somebody like Gamers Nexus or Hardware Unboxed is we test new components, new tests every time.
I don't remember the Gamers Nexus video including a quote of Linus saying they do it for every video. Use transcript. True. I'm sorry I'm lingering on this, but I want to make sure I'm not missing an important and simple detail. When did Linus say that? The reason I find it important, okay? That bald guy from the start of the Gamers Nexus video claimed they do new stuff, new tests every time, and used that to attack other people as inferior. Is the Linus quote being referred to here in the context of attacking other people? Because that's a bit of a smooth over if you're just gonna explain it like this. I don't know. Do every video. Just check every Linus video. Report this channel. I can't get to the transcription, but anyway, okay. We will carry on. I spent too long looking for something. If I need to look it up, I'll look it up off stream.
Use the same data for our RX 7600 and RTX 4060 Ti videos, we knew in advance that these cards would release 2 days apart and designed a broad test suite that accounted for all the numbers we would need to make those 2 videos and ran everything at once with no BIOS or driver changes. In fairness to Linus, the project to video ratio is normally 1-to-1, but the devil's in the details. Now, let's talk about what's coming. We will release our current Mark Bench harnesses as open source items so that the community can audit the code around our test integrations. We will do a vlog-style video on Floatplane about our testing from start to finish, so you can see how the sausage is actually made.
The integrity and credibility sausage.
We will open a new community forum post asking for transparency suggestions, and more importantly, we will follow up. We will start placing.
Wait, is Floatplane behind a paywall? Oh, that's like their, as I've said before. I've seen random bits and pieces of I've seen various Linus videos when they're relevant to my interests. You know, like when they tested high refresh rate monitors in particular as a shooting game enjoyer. That was interesting to me, etc., etc. So the people who put money into them will have a better look. Now, obviously, nothing wrong with having like content behind a paywall, right? But when it's related to the processes behind publicly viewable sharing of information, it's then like, hey, you can see whether you think our shit's trustworthy or not, but you gotta pay to know whether that's weird. I don't know. That seems like a weird way to set it up.
Our testing project number in the credits, so we are always open about the data set that was used for the benchmark results. And there is a lot more still to come, ranging.
Obviously, they can do what they want, Jefferson. They could also just lie. They can do that. That's fine. They could just make numbers up if they wanted to. It's their content. However, when they're trying to address a situation where people are annoyed at the quality of their output, people are concerned about the processes behind it, to then be like, oh, we're going to fix it. It affects everyone who watches, but the information pertinent to process change is going to be behind a paywall. It turns fixing a problem into an opportunity to make money, which you can do, obviously, but cringe.
From test variation percentages per workbench to each benchmark we utilized in the videos, among others. It's going to be a busy week of not making videos.
Same goes for us. I'm James, head of the writing department. We are extremely grateful for everything the lab has done and continues to do to make our jobs easier. But the actual testing is not the biggest source of our recent struggles. It's the human factor. There have been times when an internal video review caught an incorrect graph, resulting in new versions of the graph being created, only for those new graphs to not be put in the video. Ah! Just about every error that has appeared in a video in the past year.
I gotta say, I'm glad I saw his eyes moving around, because now I know at least this guy doesn't. I was starting to lose my mind on the first 2 clips, thinking they were using that NVIDIA AI filter that makes it look like you're always staring directly at the camera, because I was like, they have to look away even for like a split second. What is going on?
Has directly resulted in a process change designed to prevent that specific issue from ever happening again. But this kind of problem pops up, create a new process, whack-a-mole, isn't working. We'll be using our time to take feedback from our team on all of our processes and comb through all of our pending projects for areas where we can improve as we move forward with our...
Honestly, opening it up to viewers is fucking insane, because what the fuck do viewers know? Keep it, do this, like, just share whatever you fucking choose to do with everyone, because it's important information for anyone trusting your stuff. Maybe not the workflow stuff, like put that behind a paywall. Testing methodology, probably want everyone to see it if you're concerned with your credibility and repairing that, and people are suspicious of your methodology, having that solid and showing that to everyone, probably a good idea. But feedback on that, like, no, don't listen to the audience, because people like me are in your audience. I don't know what the fuck you should be doing to get the right numbers.
A reduced upload schedule. You'll see some of these videos go up during our time off. We already have multiple videos that are scheduled for release, but my main message to the team is that we want to spend this time working on interdepartment communication and cleaning up our house. What we won't be doing is sanitizing things too much. We know that some of our best videos are centered around Linus and other members of the team just goofing around with tech and having fun.
Fine.
That is not going to stop. But others, like GPU and CPU releases, certainly require all the rigor we can muster. Those launches don't...
This section is good. So far, I have to say there's nothing wrong with this section at all.
Don't happen as often these days, so it will take some time before you see the full payoff of our continuous improvement. But it has already started happening. Not only did the community love our 4060 review, but our team found it less stressful to put out. Have we had a flawless victory? No. But since these last reviews, we've onboarded a dedicated visualization person whose full-time job it is to create graphs that are correct, digestible, and accessible. We've done serious development on our automatic specs.
Am I insane regarding the inclusion of people liking it? I don't think there's any element of critique to do with people liking it or not.
Database
Sure,
thing.
of course people enjoy your video. Okay.
So that our visualizations pull the correct info in every time. And we'll soon be announcing the details of a new crowdsourced fact-checking system for both LTT and TechQuickie so that our content's correctness satisfies even our most discerning community members.
I'm Ed, head of our production team. We have some of the most comprehensive documentation and processes in the company, from...
Is that fucking Trello? Is that motherfucking Trello?
Automations to keep project information accurate, to communication procedures, to standards for how loud videos can be. Those systems have helped with the video edit side of things, but I've seen some examples where we've failed to see the forest for the trees and allowed well-edited but erroneous content to slip through the cracks. So for our part, we'll be spending our time looking at how we can improve communication to help the team address anything that seems off as soon as possible. A personal task for me will be putting the finishing touches on some cool ways that we can make small edits that avoid the slapdash text on screen corrections whenever possible.
That's good. That's a good little bit. That's a specific critique that they've specifically addressed. I guess that you can look at it. I have a huge tendency towards cynicism, okay? You have a little stream of your team players come out. I'm like, that's hyper-humanization strategy. Or like, look at all these people who aren't Linus. Look at how many of us aren't Linus. We're not just him. Ah! Type deal, right? But it does make sense apart from that. If you don't view it purely as a cynical humanization, personalization strategy, it does make sense to show, here's this guy, he's going to be tackling this. It's like we have these, they're not just saying what they're going to do, they're showing us who's going to do it. However, fuck being these people, right? I feel like okay, let's go a layer deeper though. They kind of put a target on the back of everyone here. Everyone here, bro, I would not do this. I would not do this. Because what if now something happens where or like this guy doesn't have control of it and they do the note thing again. And then people are like, they're doing the fucking note thing again. Get him. Who's his name? It's Evil Knievel. We're going to come after him.
That's not my department, so I'm throwing it over to Nick.
Hold on. I'm mostly on the product side. LTTstore.com. What? Somebody had to say it. But the theme of today's...
Yo, he's so real and relatable.
This video is transparency.
Also, never say I have a beluga whale head again. Fuck you.
Accountability. You might not see me in video credits, but I still serve as a last line of defense in reviewing most LTT videos before they are published. I typically check for security links and inappropriate or NSFW jokes, but there are times when I catch a factual error or a weird graph that doesn't really tell the full story. To be clear,
how many fucked up things are these guys? We've had multiple people talking about catching fucked up things and then not having them be able to be fixed, or catching them and having them fixed, and then all those examples still existed.
Clear. We also have checks for technical aspects from our writing team, and in some cases, the lab. But our processes for ensuring those checks happen and following up these findings haven't been perfect, and
So why is the slur checker catching technical errors?
corrections are often made quickly. So while we take this time to reflect, I'll be focused on helping build a set of guidelines for our pre-release reviews and trying to set up a system that allows our team to take a finer look at every aspect of our videos.
Guidelines
every
good.
single time.
guidelines
And
good
maybe with time,
for technical reviews?
everyone here will be so aligned with our mission that my input is no longer needed, and I can focus my full attention on making little widgets that you don't need, but definitely want. It's like this retro-themed screwdriver.
Errors in our supporting assets like tables and graphs chip away our credibility. So continuing to improve our process issues to minimize errors will remain a top priority under my leadership.
Okay. So they made this as... They constructed this video. They made this section plans to improve credibility. I don't think they're supposed to be telling us that this is the here are our plans to improve credibility section. You might be thinking, what do you mean? Of course they need to improve their credibility. Yeah, but when you talk about, I need to improve my credibility, that doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound good. That makes what you're doing sound like a cynical, cold-blooded strategy, which people aren't going to be too warm to. You need to just say the things you're going to do that will improve your credibility. It's kind of like saying, here's how we can make our PR better. Exactly, Hex. Like, take this first sentence he said. Okay.
Errors in our supporting assets like tables and graphs chip away our credibility. So continuing to improve our process issues to minimize errors will remain a top priority under my leadership.
They're going to correct it because it chips away at their credibility. You can get the credibility bump from just saying you're going to do this. Say the fucking reason. Say the fucking reason is that it's not doing right by your audience who trusts you. Say it's because you're putting this out there, you're asserting that you're an authoritative, trustworthy source. You deserve to have stuff like that accurate if you're going to trust us or whatever. Like, also do the fucking brain trick of assuming that you have credibility. Treat it as from the perspective of, I am viewed as credible, so I have a responsibility as well. Be Trump-pilled. Be Trump-pilled. Don't say, we're going to do this because it's good for our credibility.
I guarantee there will be future mistakes. We are human. But next week, we'll be creating and publishing a clear policy for correction handling, and I'll be working with our community management team to be prompt and...
because this whole video is an exercise in rebuilding credibility. Every single step they're taking here is an exercise in restoring their credibility and improving their credibility. Why the fuck would you have a here are our plans to improve credibility section? No, that comes off weird. You're showing us how the sausage is made on a section you should not be showing how the sausage is made.
Transparent with corrections are as visible as possible. I think what happened with the Polish mouse is a perfect example of the kind of breakdown that should never happen again. Last Friday, Linus was notified of the issue a couple hours before the one show, where he discussed the errors of the video on short circuit and apologized unequivocally. But while we recut the video to remove the misleading information, no one closed the loop and dealt with a tone-deaf and frankly unapologetic correction in the pinned comment. Our mission is to get the information to the community, which includes having a degree of humility about our mistakes, even if it makes us look less than perfect. The other side of my job as CEO is keeping the lights on, ensuring our staff is well taken care of, and putting dollars into some fun stuff, like watering and cooling a PC with a pool. And that's through sponsorships, affiliate programs.
Wait, I didn't listen to a single word he was saying because I'm looking at his eyes. Are they using the NVIDIA filter and he's reading something? It's fine if they are, but I'm like, this doesn't, I don't know.
Deaf and frankly unapologetic correction in the pinned comment. Our mission is to get the information.
Like, he's obviously reading something, but is it just like a teleprompter above the camera, or is there more than that? Because this is surreal to me. Like, he's not even blinking.
Information is the community, which includes having a degree of humility about our mistakes, even if it makes us look less than perfect. The other side of my job as CEO is keeping the lights on.
I guess there are cuts.
Ensuring our staff is well taken care of, and putting dollars into some fun stuff, like watering and cooling a PC with a pool. And that's through sponsorships, affiliate programs, paid subscriptions, or merchandise sales. One thing that's not negotiable with me, ownership, or the business team on sponsored content is we need to maintain control of the creative. I was on a call with a potential partner recently. They asked for a cream puff piece.
He blinked. Okay. Holy shit. Holy shit. Okay.
What's a cream puff piece? That's when they're like, how much money do we have to give you just so that you tell the story that we want? Before I can jump in and say anything, just because I'm in shock at this point in time, Nick turns over and says, no, absolutely not. I started laughing a little bit. I just said, hey, Nick, there's probably a better way to handle that, where we could just soften up a little bit. But the truth...
No, fuck off. That's the best way to deal with it. You want to build you want to improve your credibility? You want to improve your credibility? Go like, hell yeah, fuck off. Our opinion is not for sale.
I don't disagree with them. We've had many rocky periods with sponsors where they're not happy with the content or the conclusions, and because they couldn't affect the editorial bents. This has and continues to have significant negative impacts on revenue. I think we're pretty transparent on how, where, and why we make our money, and one of our strategic pillars is to make sure that we can maintain editorial independence. This has included on multiple occasions saying goodbye and good luck to sponsors ranging from thousands of dollars a year to hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, over remaining independent and doing right by the LTT community. While we were deciding if we were a good fit for each other, I was very pleased to see the integrity.
Okay. They're talking about how they have lost sponsorship opportunities by maintaining their editorial independence, by doing things that the sponsors would not want them to, or not agreeing to do things the sponsors would want to. This doesn't mean the questions that were raised regarding, was it Noctua, the quiet fan people? That doesn't mean there isn't something there. For example, it could just be that there's a line or a limit. Like if you do the right thing sometimes, it doesn't mean always do it. I imagine that because they brought up the screwdrivers, right? They brought up the screwdrivers. That was the crossover with Noctua. Am I crazy? Am I remembering incorrectly or correctly? Probably want to talk about that specific test. If you're gonna talk about your integrity and dedication to maintaining editorial independence from sponsors, probably want to like strike that example directly. Hex, good example that was brought up in the Gamers Nexus video, in which there was an Asus sponsored video and the guy said it's Asus, so it's gonna be good. Are we meant to believe because they've severed their connection to certain sponsors that can't possibly be viewed negatively? Or you're not allowed to suggest that that creates an appearance of impropriety? Whether he's saying it because it was a sponsor or not, we can never actually know. We can only know that there's an appearance of impropriety there. And I don't think you can fix that without having guidelines on, even if it's just internal so people don't say shit like that in fucking sponsored videos that make you look sus. You have to have standards for etiquette and behavior in sponsored content to avoid the appearance of impropriety, even if you're not doing anything wrong.
Of the team here, based on the deals that these guys have walked away from. I think one thing that we've done a poor job of, however, is publishing these standards where a community can see them. That's something.
It's not Linus's company anymore. Well, wait, whoa. I don't actually know the format. Is Linus still owner but just not CEO? What's the structure? Still owner. Okay. However, handing over the reins like this to this CEO, let's be real. If I was this guy, I would be mad as fuck. That forum post Linus made, I would be losing my fucking mind having been CEO for 6 weeks. Just saying.
I'll be improving upon.
And so will I. I'm Colton, the head of business development, which includes departments like HR, procurement, logistics, events, and sales and marketing. Sponsorships specifically are an area where Linus has more limited oversight than he used to, and in my opinion, we haven't done a great job conveying that. It's up to my team to vet incoming sponsor requests and deal with issues that you, our viewers, have with our brand partners. One way we do that is using our LMG sponsor discussion subforum on linustechtips.com to create a dialogue between our business team and the community. It's obvious from some of the issues we're seeing that we need to be more communicative when we're actively working with brands to rectify issues. Most content creators can attest to the fact that brands sometimes take forever to respond to messages or address problems.
This better not be about the copper thing.
Perfect example is Anchor not removing Linus Tech Tips from their Amazon pages, even though we've been asking to be removed since our partnership with them ended months ago. We work hard to push for accountability, but we also understand that these businesses are either large, with lots of moving parts, or...
Why? Wait, what? Hold on. From the perspective of a consumer of products and of media about those products, why do I care that you were listed as what, a partner on Anchor for longer than you were?
Perfect example is Anchor not removing Linus Tech Tips from their Amazon pages, even though we've been asking to be removed since our partnership with them ended months ago.
The partnership ended. In what capacity were they on the page? I don't know. I need more info about that. I need more info about that. What was it? Was it like a quote? Were you paid to endorse? What was it? What was this? Because it could matter to me that was up for too long, but it could also just be a problem for your company. Like they got value out of your brand without you getting paid for it. If it is an endorsement by you that is up there for longer than it was meant to be, that could affect me, but also if removing it no longer leading to me liking their product is the outcome of removing it, then it's kind of bad that you were there in the first place. But what was the page? You have to tell me what the fucking thing on the Anchor Amazon page was. What were you saying? Was it just like a Linus choice? What was it?
We work hard to push for accountability, but we also understand.
It says recommended by Linus Tech Tips, which was supposed to be removed after the sponsorship ended. Thank you, Ploppy. If that was on a particular product, then to the consumer it doesn't matter that it was up there longer because you recommended it at some point and the product presumably hasn't changed, right? Also, I agree, Hex. Yeah, a deal, a sponsor deal from a media group that does reviews, a paid recommendation or a partnered recommendation of a product. Let me be very specific, actually. If it was, say, so their bread and butter is tech computer stuff. If they were paid for the recommendation of a product that is entirely exterior to what they cover and review, I don't care. I don't care. Having that kind of relationship with producers and sellers of the exact kind of product you review, that's credibility death. That's instantaneous credibility death in my eyes. Personally, especially if, whether it was paid for or not, you gave the recommendation. That recommendation exists, regardless of whether it's on the page or not. Needing it removed suggests an acknowledgement by them that it's not real. Like, it's not a real, authentic endorsement where they also have a partnership. It's like the only reason it's there is the partnership. That's weird that you'd say that if that's what it is. That's scuffed. That's real weird. And again, the most important part, I would say, is to me as a consumer of Anchor products, of media by Linus Media Group. MM0, thank you. You think the recommendation changed because they got new information? If you remember, they were misrepresented by the cloud upload on the product, learning that they changed it. Okay, that's different. Why include the fucking context?
Not removing Linus Tech Tips from their Amazon pages, even though we've been asking to be removed since our partnership with them ended months ago.
Since their partnership with them ended, they say, though. Let's go context diving. We have to dive. I need to actually look at this because this is too scuffed now. LMG Anchor. Anchor is ANKER, yes? Okay. I take it back. No. This is good. This matters. This matters. There's nuance. Wait. I think if you review tech, you probably shouldn't be taking tech sponsorships if you care about your credibility. That's one layer, right? One layer. You probably shouldn't touch that at all because it creates an appearance of impropriety, even if you're able to act properly and not allow that to bias and alter what you say and do. Even if you are just a bastion of resolve, the appearance of impropriety is bad in itself. However, ostensibly, the reason they dropped that sponsorship was that there was a security issue. There was a security problem. They marketed a camera apparently as being off the cloud, but it always sends stuff to the cloud. They dropped the sponsorship for a security issue. Their sponsored recommendation continued to be on the product. It is good for the consumer to take that off because it's a security risk. However, here's another layer. Why is credibility important to them? Because people who are not as savvy as them find value in them through trusting them. This is another example, I guess, of them not checking out a sponsor thoroughly enough, right? This is another good reason to be very, 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 very fucking careful about who you take as a sponsor, especially if the sponsor is within the realm of what you'd normally cover. Because this is another thing that actually is a blow to their credibility. Good that they got Anchor to remove it so that people aren't going to get suckered in and buy this product that misrepresents itself. Bad that they had a sponsorship like that, in my opinion. I'm quite extreme on these things. And bad that it wasn't vetted heavily enough by people who are supposed to be experts on technology.
We work hard to push for accountability, but we also understand that these businesses are either large with lots of moving parts or small with limited resources. So things can take time, but you shouldn't be waiting in the dark. It's critical for us to get the sponsorship piece right because real talk, you guys are the boss. If you're not happy with brands we work with, you won't engage with our sponsors, and suddenly we won't be able to support all the cool stuff we're currently able to do. Moving forward.
What a weird take on it. It's good, very good, to pull your recommendation off shit that's a security risk, but then he presents the problem as us not supporting the sponsors and going for the sponsors. If you want to look better, bro, and I don't know, maybe they don't feel this way. For me, I could honestly say this. I don't want to push you into something that misleads or endangers you. With that as an example, wouldn't that be a good thing? We don't want to present you with sponsors that will, end up turning out to have misrepresented themselves. We're going to be more careful because you deserve better. You're the boss, you deserve better. Could have done it like that. Maybe that angle's better. Maybe they don't look at it like that though. I don't know. Maybe it really is just keeping the audience happy is what matters.
Forward then. You can expect weekly updates in the subforum on issues that need addressing, and we'll also include an up-to-date list of product verticals that are off limits for our channels. We hope this will enable us to make better calls consistently from here on out, all while maintaining our long-time commitment to transparency. Finally, I want to apologize to Billet Labs for auctioning off their monoblock at LTX 2020.
Damn, busy morning, missed most of the react. How have you felt about it thus far? Thus far, I have problems with it, but it seems like a good response. You're never going to be able to have a perfect response to Gamers Nexus after what Linus wrote on the forum. He fucked that up for all of them. It's a little scuffed, but overall, I think for a lot of the people upset with LMG, this will do the job for them.
Finally, I want to apologize to Billet Labs for auctioning off their monoblock at LTX 2023. Our processes failed when I was selecting items to include in the charity auction, but then it was compounded because when the issue was brought up to me via...
Oh, okay, right. We originally said you could keep it because we thought it would be good for you to have it for future builds. It wasn't so you could sell it, whether for charity or not. Then when Linus clearly didn't like it, we asked for it back and you agreed. Yeah, that part's irrelevant because real startup with a prototype probably shouldn't send that shit out. However, if the people you send it to then agree to send it back, that's on them. Why don't I have the add-on that brings back the dislike count? Because I don't care. I could look. If people want to see, I could go try and check. That was a prototype and we're a small company. Do you plan to reimburse us the money it cost? You agreed to send it back and we planned our finances accordingly. This is not okay at all. Wait, so there was a communication mishap and we ended up auctioning off the monoblock and selling an auction for charity at LTX. The good news is that it isn't just sitting on a shelf. I don't even understand that fucking comment. Yes, my understanding is that originally this video had an uncensored price on it. Which was then defended on the basis that they were never told it should be private. But when a hefty amount of the critique leveled at you is your general practice and etiquette, this is, in your apology and how you're going to fix things, an example of general practice and etiquette failing. Oh no! Hang on. Let me just violate their privacy. Unless, of course, you're reporting and you think it's of... If you think it's of public interest... that people see the price, you can go fuck these people. I think the public need to know, but I don't really see a case for that. Hang on, frame by frame, so I catch it. You fucking dumb fucks. No! On the back of this alone, they fucked up the video about how they're not rushing things and gonna fuck up anymore. They fucked up the edit in a video that's in part about how they're not gonna do fucked up edits anymore. No, this is clown show. This is clown show. Realistically, sure. Over a week, over this week and then into the future. It could get better, whatever. They've said what they're going to do. There's an actionable plan. There's a measurable change. This is beyond consideration of workflow and whatnot. This is a question of basic competence. Let's go down to the... Let me see what this says. Update 1. It's come to my attention that in Billet Labs' Reddit post, they censored the quoted cost of their prototype water block. We were never asked to keep this information private, and given that our sources for the matter were their own correspondence with them rather than Reddit, we didn't know to include the censorship. Okay, at this point, there's probably not much point Streisand affecting it, but I'll blur it anywhere on YouTube and we'll get it blurred on Floatplane as soon as one of our editors is awake. Their editor blurred it for most of the frames. It's still there, 2K. That's just a comical fuck up in your video about getting better. In their video where they've already dropped video production, okay? There's no workload, presumably. If we're to believe what they said, there's no workload. They got an editor to censor something, which they argued they didn't need to do. What's their defense going to be? Oh, it was already out there anyway. Guess what? That was their excuse about not testing the block properly. Are they still going to use the same excuses? They better not. This, you might think this is very small. It is, really, but it's an indicator that it is not actually that is not simply a systemic issue, that there might be issues of straight up incompetence.
Our processes failed when I was selecting items to include in the charity auction, but then it was compounded because when the issue was brought up to me via email, even though I replied 2 hours later apologizing and offering to pay for the component, I forgot to actually include our contact in that email. So it went to our procurement team.
I'm gonna hide this because I don't want to like dox. Did they hide the stuff they meant to hide for like their own purposes? Because there was an animation effect. So their own stuff they wanted censored, they censored, they got perfectly. Oh man.
I forgot to actually include our contact in that email. So it went to our procurement team instead of Billet Labs. Side note, that same team, God bless them, didn't ask our event team who won the silent auction items and proceeded to email everyone asking. We don't need any of that. Certainly not for tax purposes. I clearly need to spend some of my week training the team, unless I actually get fired for real this time. Moving forward, we'll be implementing a more rigid process for separating items that need to go back and which ones we'll be holding onto for future testing.
This might ring a little hollow, coming from one half of the WAN Show team that brought you Trust Me Bro and the privateering incident, among others, but we need to be better about our communication. Now
What was the Trust Me Bro thing? Was that his commentary on unions? Like, you don't need a union, trust me, bro? I can't remember what these references reply. Warranty! Yeah, we have no warranty policy, trust me, bro. Yeah. I remember that controversy. I didn't recognize it as the trust me, bro controversy.
No intention to kill the silly humor or be less open with people. I don't want anything to be less fun, but we do need to be respectful and conscious of the impact of our words.
Is the privateering one like a weird piracy thing? I don't remember.
We should be proud of the work that we do, but we shouldn't negatively compare ourselves to our fellow tech reviewers. When issuing corrections, we need to apologize. We need to respect people's time and their money. I said after...
Okay, 14 minutes 40 in. Hey, it's the thing that fucking matters when you're reviewing and testing products that people who are watching potentially are considering buying. What's the worst impact you could have? Misleading someone and having them spend money they wouldn't have spent otherwise, right? That's the worst actual outcome that's realistic and is likely to be common. Yes, he's saying the right thing. He's caring about the right thing.
The last round of this, that you don't win by screaming loudly or dramaing hard. You win by fixing problems, improving, and becoming a hard target. We're still f***ing up a lot, and we need to own that, fix it, and move on, not be defensive or shirk blame. That being said, I'm not really on the production side of things these days.
Fair.
What my teams and I are working hard on is to support the other teams in other ways. Reintegrating it to LMG has been somewhat terrifying. One of my team's jobs is to take over management of the infrastructure, and while I have...
Yeah, what does he mean by hard target? Does he mean make yourself hard to attack? Like difficult to crack? As in if someone's trying to take you down? Because that's don't fucking say that. Just say you improve, you make things better. Say like, make it so that people can't attack you because there's nothing to attack. And that any mistakes we've made are caught by us and fixed. Don't be like, we're gonna be harder to attack, because saying that's your motivation will make a cynically minded person such as me think, oh, so, improving is one way to do that, but, there are other ways to make yourself a hard target, right?
Brought an experienced team member into the fold, it needs a lot of work. So far, we've mostly just been focused on documenting what we even have, and most of our initial steps beyond that will be improving overall stability, rather than flashy video-worthy projects. Any production interruptions due to shoddy infrastructure add additional burden to the other teams, and our goal is 6 nines. We will also continue to maintain and develop our inventory system, which, with better processes, should be able to help keep things like billets.
I'm never gonna watch these guys. Not just because I'm scared that I'll trust something and it'll be wrong and I'll buy something. There is that, and it means I'd watch them and then double check anyway, so I might as well get it somewhere else. But also because they're not funny.
Prototype from being mishandled, misplaced, and misused in the future. And the foundational work we're doing on reliable data management and storage should enable teams like the editors and the engineering folks in the lab to move faster and more confidently with lower risk of errors, thanks to new tools like our specs database. Among my other unmentioned and unrelated responsibilities is keeping Linus from driving off various cliffs.
Yeah, looking after the Sneeds kid, the special needs kid, Linus, putting him at the end. Probably smart. You gotta shit on him even more than that.
Which I have failed at a number of times.
And let's face it, he's gonna fail again. Hey, it's me. I'm Chief Vision Officer now, but realistically, I'm not gonna be able to hide behind my recent demotion here. I was the one at the head of the company for each and every mistake that our community has rightly brought to our attention.
Amy Minty, thank you for the compliment. I will say, however, I cannot be credited with digging into this. Nothing that I have done I would consider digging, and I am an ignoramus. Nothing I can say about the meat and potatoes of things being right or wrong in videos really matters, because I'm not a tech man, right? I'm not a tech man. However, if my, what would I call it, color commentary makes these videos that are important to watch if you're into tech and you watch any of these channels, if my color commentary makes it any more palatable to you than watching them at face value, I'm glad. That's a service I think I can be proud of. However, I will not take credit for any digging.
And once again, I made things worse by allowing myself to respond emotionally.
Come on, man. I let myself respond emotionally. Oh. Sometimes I'm just too weak. He needs to address... Okay, before we carry on. This is a, oh, boo-hoo, please pity me, yada, 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 yada. If he had just been running defense, okay. However, he levied a claim of impropriety towards Gamers Nexus. He said that Gamers Nexus didn't follow a standard they should have. He's wrong. You don't have to reach out to the subject of a story unless it's relevant or it's situational. So he's wrong about that. However, he also claimed that if Gamers Nexus had reached out to him, they would have gotten the information that they were going to pay back the billet people. However, that would have been impossible because that agreement happened after Gamers Nexus videos. He needs to address that he lied as part of an attempt to attack Gamers Nexus. That, to me, is the most horrific thing he did. In fact, the other stuff isn't something I'd call horrific. That he did is horrific to me. The other stuff, like, okay, I get fired up about consumers being misled, whatever. That's not, like, horrendous, evil, whatever. For the most part, at least the way they've done it. It's fucking clown show shit that they should have done better. Attacking someone as not following proper standards and lying to do it. Nah. Address that shit.
Honestly, really hard when people take an internal process error and then they run that all the way to Linus is a thief and wants to auction someone else's intellectual property to the highest bidder, or accuses me of trying to brush something under the rug just because I do think it's important to get all the details before declaring me to be a low-down liar, straight-up piece of shit.
You said one of those details that he would get is that you were reimbursing them and you'd agreed to do that. That happened after. In fact, the screenshot you're showing even mentions it. Does he not understand? Is he gonna... Okay. How does Linus succeed in dealing with this point? If Linus can show that... This is the wrong screen cap. Hang on. So what we're seeing on screen now is a Reddit comment that says, Billet Labs confirmed to Gamers Nexus in their just released update video that LTT didn't even offer to reimburse Billet until after the Gamers Nexus video. The only thing Linus can do to that point is disprove that that's the order of things. Because if that is the order of things, that means Linus lied about the information Gamers Nexus would have gotten had they contacted him before publishing their video. It could be true that if Gamers Nexus had contacted Linus first, he'd have been able to quickly do that before they put out the video. They don't owe that to him. Like, things could have gone differently, but they didn't, and what Linus said was that they went a way they didn't, not that they could have gone a different way. So he did absolutely lie. He needs to either show that he didn't lie, or address that he fucking lied.
Accuses me of trying to brush something under the rug just because I do think it's important to get all the details before declaring me to be a low-down liar, straight-up piece of shit. We were slow shipping back the GPU that Billet Labs sent us. There's no way around it. That's our bad. But the delay in communication, the one that prompted the post that you guys just saw, it was less than 2 business days. The second that I was made aware of the situation, on the 14th, I emailed Billet Labs and I explained what happened. I even included Colton's attempt at apologizing and offering, no questions asked, full compensation for their stated value of the product, which happened on the 10th, before we were under any pressure to do so, and without Colton even bothering to check with me or Yvonne before just saying, go for it. He knows that our...
Let me listen to this again.
The second that I was made aware of the situation, on the 14th, I emailed Billet Labs and I explained what happened. I even included Colton's attempt at apologizing and offering, no questions asked, full compensation for their stated value of the product, which happened on the 10th.
Offered on the 10th. Offered on the 10th. What he said, he may, depending on the wording, he may have defended himself. He may have managed to prove that what he said wasn't a lie. I need the exact wording, though. I need the exact fucking wording. Let me see. Why is it so hard to find this freaking... I had it up like a minute ago. Okay. This is tough. And the fact that while we haven't sent payment yet, we have already agreed to compensate Billet Labs for the cost of their prototype. So an agreement is between 2 parties. They offered. This makes it seem less like a lie. Where's Colton?
Issue was brought up to me via email, even though I replied 2 hours later, apologizing and offering to pay for the component. I forgot to actually include our contact in that email. So
let me just be clear. They did offer to pay for the block. Linus, I think it's fair to say, it's been demonstrated in this video that he wasn't lying. He's addressed the thing. It's demoted from he was lying. It's close because he said we agreed to, which I think contains the implication of more than one party. They offered to. If he'd said we offered to, that would just be 100% true. Agreed to implies to me that the two parties were involved. And apparently, it appeared to other people as well. Yes. The thing I think is crazy is, does he think that if Gamers Nexus had the info that they fucked up offering to repay a company for a creation, for a prototype they weren't meant to sell, that they sold, they fucked up paying them back and reimbursing them by forgetting to just include their email address in the email offering that? Do you think that would look better or worse or just fucking stupid and insane? They would be ripped on harder. That would be shit on. It doesn't make it...
No questions asked, full compensation for their stated value of the product, which happened on the 10th, before we were under any pressure to do so, and without Colton even bothering to check with me or Yvonne before just saying, go for it.
Unfortunately, Colton also didn't check if the email will be going to Billet Labs.
He knows that our internal policy is to do the right thing. So, he tried, bless him. I guess his job is safe for another day. And sorry, I guess I've actually gotten a little bit emotional here again. So, I'm going to stop there because whatever's being said...
Live, I cut people slack for this. In a video, you're choosing to include this.
...about me, and whatever's being said about the team should never have allowed my feelings to distract from any valid criticism of our work.
Oof. What do you consider to not be valid? Is he suggesting that the is he defending the block stuff?
My decision, for example, to not bother retesting the monoblock, that was obviously wrong, and my lame response on the forum was a huge and unnecessary blunder. I owe you guys better, and I'm sorry. For my part, first, I'm going to be working through the other members of the exec team for any crisis communication moving forward. And second, I'm going to spend my week working with the other teams to develop a system of processes that will help our company fulfill my vision of being a world-class tech media organization. I'm also going to be spending my week just refocusing, guys, on what matters most, which is bringing you guys the best damn content that we can make. It's been over 10 years.
Okay.
Lord, it's been almost 15.
Let me take a little peep at his okay. Could have asked me for context that may have proven to be valuable, like the fact that we didn't sell the monoblock. Ooh! I guess he just waves that away by saying, I was emotional. Does your brain stop working when you're emotional? When I think emotional, I think fiery or melodramatic, right? Rather auctioned it for charity due to a miscommunication. And the fact that while we haven't set payment yet, we've already agreed to compensate Billet Labs for the cost of their prototype. I think the biggest problem with agreed, this is hyper nitpicky, but look, bros, I literally have autism, okay? It suggests that Billet Labs would have been... The importance of agreed rather than offered is that it suggests Billet Labs would accept that when there are issues beyond the mere value, such as fear that it gets into the hands of a competitor, you know? The thoroughness that we managed in our last handful of GPU videos is getting really incredible. That was echoed in this video by someone else. He agrees it was a bad choice. He kind of said that in the original apology, not really apology, commentary. Was their email saying it was worth 2,000, not before? Said they agreed. Let's see the exact terminology. This isn't enough to say they... That's not enough for it to be an agreement. But I think Linus isn't lying when he says they sent an email. I think the characterization of it as you agreed to pay isn't quite right. And I believe Billet Labs also contest that them suggesting a value and asking if they plan to reimburse them. I don't know them asking, do you plan to reimburse us, and them failing to send an email would constitute an agreement. So the lying drops off. I'm gonna say Linus, my characterization of it as a lie. He's defended himself. I think he did not lie I think he's fucky. He did not lie. However, he's totally wrong that that information would have changed anything about the Gamers Nexus video, and he's totally wrong that Gamers Nexus needed to contact him to get that context. It's criticism of public media. I don't think it's a lie by omission either, Zara, because I suspect... Well, I don't know. At this point, at the point of him writing that, did he know that the email didn't get to them? Hold up. Wait. No! Wait! He's mind-fucked us. He's mind-fucked us. He's mind-fucked us, brothers. The email where they failed to offer to pay whatever they asked was on the 10th. And that failed to get to them, sure. Right? I think following the Gamers Nexus video, yes, I need to get the Gamers Nexus response because there's information in there that's important. The reason I think agreement is so important, we are going to jump on.
The block back on June 30th, and they agreed again later, and then they followed up to tell Billet that they would have a tracking number soon, and then it was last seen at the auction at LTX. So today was the first time that Billet had direct contact.
Right. I finished the Linus section. So this I think is of relevance.
With Linus. A comment from Linus lower in the forum reads this, quote, Billet sent us a quote. I don't know or care how they arrived at the value. If they're good, I'm good. We asked them about this, and Billet...
Now, someone on the forum said, regarding the Billet Labs situation, could you please publicly state and justify the monetary compensation paid out to Billet Labs for the loss of their prototype? What steps are you taking to prevent such issues in the future? He is characterizing Billet Labs saying, that was a £2,000 prototype and we're a very small company. Do you plan to reimburse us for the money it cost? He's characterizing that as having sent them a quote. No. No. It could not be a lie. It could be that he's a fucking moron.
We asked them about this, and Billet emphasized to us that it had not sent Linus Media Group a quote. It noted that it had expressed a possible value of the block in frustration before our video went up, before this conversation began, after they learned that it had been auctioned previously, but that this wasn't any kind of quote or invoice. We asked Billet if it had anything further to share, and it said, He's emailed us. We haven't emailed back yet at the time of writing. We thank the community for the support. We stand by everything we've said publicly.
This feels like, in his apology, he was trying to characterize things as having been further along than they actually were. What I mean by this is, he probably realized when he saw Gamers Nexus video, they went and must have checked. They must have checked. Oh, contextual, thank you. Contextual hint. Holy shit, thank you. Perfect name. Probably recognized after the Gamers Nexus video, looked, oh shit, the email didn't go through. Sent another email, and took them saying that was a £2,000 prototype, and then them going, we'll pay whatever, as an agreement. And to back that up, he characterized something that is not a quote as a quote, and then they're agreeing to pay the quote. However, they're calling this a quote. Hold on.
It was brought up to me via email, even though I replied 2 hours later.
Sincerely apologize for the miscommunication our team had internally regarding them. Please shoot over an invoice and we'll get this paid up. That's the email from the 10th. Did they expect an invoice for $2,000? Are they trying to say that the $2,000 was what they were quoting it's worth, and they send us an invoice for $2,000, or send it open? This is weird. This is too fucking floppy doppy. I will say, I don't think I can concretely now say that he's lying, but he's either dumb or a snake, or like a weasel. A weasel. However, on top of that, that doesn't matter too much because Linus is just totally wrong that he needed to be contacted, and he's totally wrong that that information would have changed things. If anything, it would make it worse, because in a video by Gamers Nexus that is essentially going, here's where they're incompetent, here's where they fucked up, here's where they fucked up, here's where they fucked up, etc., etc. They tried to get in touch to pay them back, and they didn't even include the email. They're so rushed they couldn't even do that. That would have been another point against Linus Tech Tips. Also, yeah, I can't imagine they would just want $2,000 to make everything right. 2K to make everything right for a prototype that was sold to, do we even know who? Everyone else's parts were fine. Linus's part is bullshit.
That stood out to me was, I need somebody to come in who I know will be respectful of my life's work. That's when the gravity of what he was asking for dawned on me for the first time. I'm by no means influencer or social media guy, but suddenly I am accountable not only to Linus and Yvonne and the entire staff at LMG.
Linus in a bun? Linus and Yvonne! Okay, he's not accountable to Linus in a bun, to be clear.
But most importantly, to the entire LMG audience.
That's good. That should have been earlier.
I'm fortunate to be inheriting a wonderful team that is passionate and has a ton of energy, who shares the same goal. We celebrate our wins together, and when we make mistakes, we also share the responsibility. I'll be coaching the team on the kinds of deep state corporate stuff that I think I'm reasonably good at. Budgeting, team building, relationship management, business development, operational processes. All things I consider to be essential life skills rather than the tactics of some sort of weird Illuminati conspiracy. We need to be a more well-oiled machine with better accountability as we got more complicated internally with how...
Guess that was meant to be endearing or something, but then they failed pretty badly with the plans to improve credibility, making it sound like a weird, soulless, cynical plot. Gotta be careful about presentation.
Technical.
But overall, what he's saying, what this guy has said, and he is the CEO, sounds good as long as they actually do it.
Writing, editing teams all have to coordinate. There are still going to be deadlines, due dates, and time-limited goals that we still need to drive towards, but the how of all this obviously needs more polish. I planned these topics to be covered in internal conversations over the coming weeks, but instead, I'm talking to you about it during this on-the-job experience of what it's like to work at a...
Oh no. Jefferson, I'm a guy who thinks incompetence is worse than malice, because someone who's malicious can stop. Someone who's incompetent doesn't know how to.
YouTube company. For all our awards, the team has worked hard to build up trust in the community and share the joy and the passion that we all have for tech. So I do not take for granted the responsibility and stewardship that comes along with this position. And I welcome continued constructive feedback. Thank you all for holding us accountable. I feel ready for the challenge and ready for this message from our sponsor.
Just kidding, again. But D-Brand did offer.
Cringe. Stop. Okay, so we had the Gamers Nexus video. Just a massive laundry list of fuck-ups. We had the horrendous Linus response, and we had that corrective Linus Media Group response, introduced by the CEO, showing a bunch of people, showing the plans and whatnot. Cool. There was, however, a curveball. Most of what's been going on has been dramatic, exciting, okay, but not in the realm of YouTube or social media or streaming drama. Ladies and gentlemen, we have drama. And as I understand it, ex-employee called Madison. I'm not super familiar with Linus Tech Tips. I've watched a few videos, like their video about high refresh rate monitors, where I think they got Shroud in, maybe some different people. I remember. I've watched bits and pieces. If they have a video about something I'm interested in, I might come across their stuff. I don't really know the team. I've seen most of them, probably. However, this ex-team member, Madison, started posting on the same day the video we just watched went up. I'm not sure at what time. Well, this thread went up at 7:09 a.m. my time, presumably UK time. I don't know exactly when their response went up, but it was the same day. So I don't know if that video went up before or after this, but regardless, very close to the same time. Madison, does it say what she was at LTT? Anyway, I'll just read her thread. We'll read through this. I have to do work. Oh no, I have to actually read something and not just play a video? Shit. To stop the speculation and DMs I am receiving, I chose to quit my role at Linus Tech Tips because it and the working environment I was facing were ruining my mental health. Oh fuck. I've read some of this, and the odds of this doing anything other than, I think, making people more sympathetic to Linus Tech Tips are quite low. The number of daily items the social media role at the time was expected to fill was incredibly high. Okay, you had a big workload put on you. I was expected to post 3 tweets, 2 Instagram posts, and 2 TikToks minimum per day. I'm sorry. I don't know what the tweets had to be, but am I crazy? I was expected to post 3 tweets a day, 2 Instagram posts, and 2 TikToks minimum per day. Of what? What kind of things do they post as TikToks? Like snipped out bits of their videos? 3 tweets, 2 Instagram posts, 2 TikToks. That doesn't sound like fucking anything. I was also expected to plan, film, edit, and post 2 Floatplane exclusive per week. How long are the videos? Like, what level of work is that? I'd like some context, please. And I'm not going to subscribe to get onto Floatplane. This included wrangling people to be in them when they were also all struggling to get their work done. I was also expected to manage, plan, come up with, execute, get approval for, and schedule out all the sponsored content on socials, not including YouTube. All while being told not to complain because my job was the fun job. Told by who? Who even said that to you? Also, like, what's the compensation like? Did you understand what you were signing up for? Like, yeah, what's been shown here does not sound like an insane amount of work for a day or week. I cannot speak on what it's like now, but they have an entire team working on, seemingly, what I was expected to accomplish alone. Okay, I misspoke originally when I said I had signed NDA. I thought the employee handbook acted as one. I am not a lawyer. I never made any statements regarding my time there because I feared even more backlash from a community that was already attacking, defaming, and sending me death threats. Is this another the thing gets attacked, now's my chance? Is this the is this like Linus's Layton? Fuck off! Like the attack on Linus Tech Tips by Gamers Nexus was so solid. Not only was it solid, it was fucking righteous and for the people. This, dude, bro, please save up and get like PR to help you do this. I don't even care if it's like hyper strategized or something, because you're gonna be advised. If you try, even if everything you're saying is true, if you try to go after someone a lot bigger than you like this with serious claims, and the claims are going to get a lot bigger than this. This is not just I was overworked and underpaid type shit. This is going to get really way bigger. Be fucking careful that you don't come off like a fucking nut job and just end up making the person you're pointing at into a more sympathetic figure, making any other criticism of them take the sideline because people care more about the crazy big bombs. She was scared about the backlash from the community that was defaming her and sending her death threats. Oh my God. I also feared for my future in this career, given that Linus Tech Tips is large and has industry connections. Here's why I didn't say it before. Why are you saying it now? Is she going to explain? Now that people are looking negatively at Linus Tech Tips, I won't get sent death threats? I don't know. Like, I guarantee you if she's getting sent death threats, the same people who were doing it before will do it now. Surely, right? Or is she going to say that her mental health is stronger now? That would, you know what, to be fair, that would make sense. I also feared for my future in this career, given that Linus Tech Tips is large and has industry connections. The career of posting 3 tweets a day? My time at this company brought my mental health to an all-time low. You could talk to anyone who was around me during my employment and they would confirm it. I could? Okay, sure. I would not have recommended anyone I knew to work there, especially with my experiences as a woman in the office. I was consistently belittled by certain members of upper management. My work was called dog shit. I was called incompetent. I think the problem isn't that her work was called dog shit and that she was called incompetent. The problem is that apparently not enough people at Linus Tech Tips are being told their work is dog shit and they're being called incompetent. The problem is not enough people are being told that. When I would reach out to... Also, name them. When I would reach out to managers and try to get help with these situations, I would be told to put on my big girl pants and be more assertive. I take it all back. Linus Tech Tips, they're incredibly based. I'm willing to get deceived into purchasing a graphics card I don't actually want by faulty test results if it facilitates this work environment. Undo that apology video. Carry on. It doesn't matter if you think I am or am not stupid. This behavior is not appropriate. After enough complaints from me, I was pulled into a meeting. In that meeting, the writer's room was pointed to, and I was asked, do you think any of these people would have a hard time getting a job? I said no. Keep in mind, this was about a month into working there. I was then pointed to and asked, what about you? Holy shit. I actually didn't read this. I've only seen a snippet of this. Holy... I'm gonna cry. I was scared. I remember asking, are you going to fire me? I was laughed at and told to stop being so pessimistic, as if my job and ability hadn't just been vaguely threatened. I was then asked to agree to a verbal no-drama contract. The verbal part is important. You literally can't not bully this person. You can't not. I need to see like a video of this person. They have oh no, she has like genes that like she releases pheromones that actually override a person's mind, and you have to bully her. It's actually her fault. No, you can't. You have to do that. She does look like Ashley Johnson. You're not wrong. In this moment, I realized I was no longer considered part of the team. I was now a threat because I was putting up a fuss when I believed I was being treated unfairly and inappropriately. This verbal agreement wasn't right. It was a behind-the-scenes warning with no record. You mean it was a verbal warning, which I believe is common before it becomes something with a record, for your benefit, to give you the chance of not having a warning or something on your record. They give a verbal warning first, often, right? Like it's no record, like for your benefit. Typically, am I insane? A warning that came very shortly after I had come forward, stating I had been inappropriately grabbed. Here's where shit goes off a cliff. A warning that came very shortly after I had come forward, stating I had been inappropriately grabbed multiple times in the office, amongst other issues. Right. Let's read this again. In that meeting, the writer's room was pointed to, and I was asked, do you think any of these people would have a hard time getting a job? I said no. Keep in mind, this was about a month into working there. I was then pointed to and asked, what about you? I was scared. I remember asking, are you going to fire me? I was laughed at and told to stop being so pessimistic, as if my job and ability hadn't just been vaguely threatened. I was then asked, presumably in this same moment, to agree to a verbal no-drama contract. Does she mean significantly later? So about a month into working there, she got this warning. The verbal agreement happened about a month into working there. She characterizes that as a behind-the-scenes warning with no record. And then she says that warning is a warning that came very shortly after I had come forward stating I had been inappropriately grabbed multiple times in the office, amongst other issues. So within her first month working there, she had been grabbed multiple times and complained about it, and was immediately warned. This is written like young adult fiction, where she's written like, oh, that seems kind of rough. That could be rough for you. That could be rough for you. And it's like, oh, damn, look at this zinger they dropped in. I was groped. You think it's funny that they bullied me with silly words? I was molested. Twist, you're the bad one. I don't believe it. I was barred from being in videos, so when you ask what happened, why wasn't she in more content? This is why. Could have happened. Could be real. I find the presentation to be anathema to my belief. Right. Madison Glassdoor review. I'm sure someone would have it up. There is a shop called Madison. Hang on. Is it Linus Tech Tips or Linus Media Group? What actually has the reviews? It's Linus Media Group. Alright, so she confirmed it was her who wrote a negative. 6 reviews. Should be easy to find, right? Here is her review of Linus Media Group as an employer. I can't show more. Shit. So not recommended. Disappointed with treatment, would not recommend. A lot of talented people, employee bonding... Pros, a lot of talented people, employee bonding activities. I thought the problem was that they bonded a bit too closely. Cons, no proper or explained HR system. Sexist remarks. Coded language? Does she mean like secret agent, like What do you mean coded language? Sexist remarks. Also, they communicate in binary by tapping the walls. And there's a cipher applied. What do you mean? What is... She means dog whistles. Okay. And harassment. I cannot see more? Fuck, do I make an account? Is it worth it? Add your review or salary to continue using Glassdoor. Bro, I'm fucking self-employed. Leave me alone. Review yourself. Could be taller. Needs to lose weight. Always... This sick fuck is always sticking spicy things in my mouth. Oh, he makes me eat the spicy rice every day. No! Madison, Linus, Glassdoor. There has to be like a fucking screen cap going around. Come on. Oh, I have it. I have it. Umpty, I'm sorry I wasted your time. Actually, I don't really care, because you probably want to see it yourself anyway. Disappointed with treatment. Would not recommend. Pros, a lot of talented people. Pros, employee bonding activities. She loved those bonding activities after she was groped multiple times in the first month and then made to feel like she was not part of the team. Pro, employee bonding. Cons, no proper or explained HR system. Sexist remarks, coded language, and harassment were commonplace. Inappropriate actions, comments, and discussions frequently occurred, including discussion about employees' bodies, appearance, clothes. Whoa! Get out of here, you fucking peasant. Am I too biased? Is that she included... Like, it's kind of fucked up if your employer is like, hey, you fat bitch, welcome to the office, ready to clock in for another 8 hours? That's pretty fucked up. But that she included wealth makes me think it's not real. Am I biased? I think, oh, she's probably, like, pretty left, and I think this woman with brightly colored hair might have an interesting relationship with the truth. Upper middle management frequently misuse power. No way to report most incidents without issue, since the HR team was also upper management. Frequently misuse power. Could all be true. Probably is a lot of it true, but I think this is a case of we have an insane person telling us about a place where a lot of stuff was wrong. You get me? Like, we're looking at something that's fucked up, but we're looking at it through a cracked to fuck, like, stained magnifying glass. Yeah, so she's talking about they threatened her employment after she came forward about being... Let me just double check something. Groping counts as sexual assault, right? It falls under the umbrella of sexual assault, yes? No? Or is it sexual harassment? Why is Google telling me what is the 10-second grope rule? Oh, wait. Oh, stating I had been inappropriately grabbed. You're right. Hold up. What does she mean by this? What? No, from a person like this, what is an inappropriate grab? Did someone, like, put their hand on her shoulder? I don't know. I don't trust what this person... To me, an inappropriate grab is like titty, ass, maybe like grabbing my ear and pulling it really hard. No. I have this problem where I assume what I'm reading comes from a sane, normal person. To me, someone discussing being inappropriately grabbed multiple times at work, that is someone who is being sexually harassed. Okay, I suspect for her she means they like put their hand on her shoulder or something. Does she ever say? In the UK, groping is sexual assault. So maybe it doesn't count as sexual assault in the US, but here in the UK, groping is sexual assault. It's in Canada. Yeah, sure. I'm talking about why I'd consider it. Why I'd say that's sexual assault. Let's look at the... Okay, Canada groping sexual assault. criminalcodehelp.ca. Sexual assault, as defined by the Canadian Criminal Code under Section 271, refers to non-consensual sexual contact, which can range from unwanted groping or kissing. I think her not calling it sexual assault means The inappropriate grab is like a touch on the shoulder or something. I don't know. What kind of fucking psycho just says I was inappropriately grabbed and leaves it like that? Or maybe she doesn't. Okay, I'll keep reading. Read the mages. I'm reading! There is this perplexing fear that people will leave Linus Tech Tips and start their own thing if given a platform. So if that platform could threaten negative things coming out about your company or you, you'd probably want to squash it too. Weirdly written, they think they tried to crush her because she was scared of her starting her own thing and competing. What? In my experience, there is a belief that everything you accomplish, no matter how much it is created by your own effort, is actually due to Linus giving you a platform. You were the social media coordinator! Your job was to post 3 tweets a day. Yes, everything you did there was because you were given the platform by Linus. You were managing, your job was to manage the platform and just put stuff on it, where there was already a pre-existing audience. What the fuck? So many other people in so many other positions could say this. I don't think the social media manager can say that. This was what I was told when I moved from Arizona to Vancouver to take this job. After it was publicly announced by Linus that he was hiring me, without my knowledge or consent, Madison accuses Linus of enslaving her. I was hired without my consent. And also before I was even offered the job or shown the salary. Dude, hot gossip just dropped. Linus enslaved a woman. What the fuck? I had asked and been told during my interviews that I would be allowed to monetize my YouTube channel and be allowed to join Floatplane in exchange for shutting down my Patreon. That's curious. Once I moved, I was presented with an entirely new contract/handbook that I was not told existed. Receipts. Receipts? Could be true. Could be true. Could be real. It detailed that I was given incorrect information and would actually have to make changes to my plans if I wanted to continue being employed. Tech Tips. This was after I had moved entire countries and given up my visa status. Just go back. If what she's saying is true, if she clarified with them during interviews that she'd be allowed to do certain things should she take the job, and then they sprung it on her that wasn't actually correct, that is fucked. That's not good. However, I'm skeptical that things went down like this. I'm 1 point skeptical because the way she presents things makes me doubt. However, given the demonstrated incompetence in communication of Linus Media Group, could have happened. They could have told her explicitly, like, oh, you'll absolutely be able to do this, gotten her to move there, and then said, actually, no, that was wrong. Could have happened. I don't know. Some corrections were made as apologies for the miscommunication. Some corrections were made as apologies for the miscommunication, but I was still upset. What did they do? Some corrections were made as apologies for the miscommunication, but I was still upset. Was the correction to a book? Was the correction like she's allowed a Patreon? What was the correction? I later went to Linus about this and stated that the effort to remediate the situation wasn't sitting wrong. What was the effort? He told me perhaps I should change my priorities. He was in this instance referring to the fact my brother had suddenly passed away not even a week before I moved for this job, and that perhaps I should just ignore that I had been misled because that was more important. If real, insanely fucking nasty. I cannot tell you how upset I felt in this moment. That's a pretty big one. That's a big one. This probably should have been like dropped as a bomb on its own, maybe. I don't know. The opportunities LTT presented to me were nothing in comparison to the day-to-day issues I faced. What a weird fucking... Why are these people all talking so fucking crazy? Does that mean if they'd offered her great enough opportunities, whatever the day-to-day issues were, would have been fine? Are you suggesting that on balance, it was not okay? Not that it was unacceptable? It did not matter if I spoke to someone with evidence of an abuse of power or inappropriate workplace behavior. It was considered tattletaling. It was actually called a tattletale. And I literally began shaking. I was told I was bossy when I was trying to be assertive, like I was asked to do. I was told I was arguing when I was trying to discuss my point of view. I was told to calm my tits, stop being such a bitch, and other comments to similar effects. There were numerous instances of misinformation being given to me purposefully to negatively impact your work. First of all, Sweaty, if it's deliberate, it would be disinformation. Anyway, I only know this because co-workers would tell me they overheard the actual information I should have been given. It felt like a horrible teenage drama movie. Yeah, this whole thread does, to the point that its presentation is suspicious to me. Like, give us an example? There were numerous instances of misinformation being given to me purposefully to negatively impact my work. Wait. No! Jefferson! You're telling me she was employed for a month? I need to see that. Because... So this stuff happened a month into working there. Yeah, it had to be longer than one, because if it was only 1 month, this tweet would be insane. That's why I scrolled up to look at it. No. Scroll up, here we go. Felt like a horrible teenage drama movie. Work from home was a whole issue. If you took 3 minutes to answer a personal email, you could get in trouble. Happened to me. There was a system of micromanaging and a level of distrust because the amount of content they have to push out daily is so insane. No one gets a break, sure. Okay, I don't know if you already saw that. This is where this person is just utterly insane. I remember getting told off for taking my sick days, as in the days you're entitled to. This no days off grind set culminated in the real moment I realized I had to leave. I purposefully cut my leg open so badly I would have to go to the ER to get it stapled back together. It was genuinely the only way in my mind to take a day off without being harassed for a reason why. I'm sorry, Madison. I'm sorry you have big problems. However, the degree of the problems you ostensibly have mean I cannot really trust anything you're saying. I'm sorry. I was in a mental state where I believed my only option was to hack my leg open to the point where I needed to be hospitalized. Yeah, sorry, your account kind of goes out the window for me. Or, or Linus is unironically a slave driver. One of the two has to be true. I suspect he is not a slave driver. I had spoken to managers about how I was struggling and how the workload was too much for one person, but I was belittled and told, you just have bad time management skills. There are so many instances that led up to that moment. Some of them I have replayed over and over, asking myself, what did I do wrong? How could I have changed the situation? But I don't think I could have. You still think hacking your leg open was the only option? No, this is not case. Not job. I'm sorry. Insane. In the membrane. I was not treated fairly, and in the moment I couldn't even see that because I was told I was the problem by people I had looked up to for years. I had co-workers come to me saying, I didn't like how you were treated. Glad you got out. And only then did I realize it wasn't me. Wait, what? She literally self-harmed? I missed it. She's doing saw shit. Yes. She says she hacked her leg open to get days off, without people questioning her taking the days off. I haven't shared any of this besides with my closest friends and family because I couldn't, at the time, take any more hits to mental health. Now you can afford it because your mental health is at 0. It can't actually go down because it is at 0. You no longer even have a mind. I couldn't deal with how small and worthless the job had made me feel, all to push out some mediocre shit posts. What? You put down your job yourself? Yeah, this is the correct characterization of what you were doing. What the fuck? I am still scared shitless of what the response will be. Since I am a woman and have already been called dramatic, if you weren't a woman and hadn't been called dramatic, you wouldn't be scared? What do you mean? I'm scared because I've been called dramatic. Also, I hacked my leg open because it was the only possible way I could get a sick day. I'm not stating what happened to me because I am seeking clout. I'm stating it because it has been eating away at me for 2 years. There we go. There are genuinely amazing, compassionate, and incredibly intelligent people who work at this company and are driven to just share the cool tech they love. It sucks that ego and a bottom line are slowly destroying some of them and hurting the entire reputation of the company. Lady, you're talking about a company where people are grabbing you, not detailing exactly how. You're talking about a company where people grab you, and then when you say you don't want to be grabbed anymore, they threaten to fire you, and the only way to have any rest is to hack your own body apart. And your conclusion is, it sucks that ego and a bottom line are slowly destroying some of the people there, and hurting the reputation of the company. The slave pit? Man, it really sucks that the slave pit where people have to self-mutilate to get rest. Really sucks that the reputation of that place is taking a hit. What the fuck is this thread? Grognar, the slave driver? He's a great bugbear. He didn't want to whip me. Linus just made it. Like, what the I didn't ever want to say anything for fear of hurting those people and their employment. But at this point, I am hurting myself, keeping this all in while also being constantly bombarded with questions about LTT and jokes made at my expense. I've been patient and tried to ignore these comments, but some of you don't understand the mental anguish and nights of crying, feeling like I did something wrong and ruined my life, that I've had to go through. This was my dream job? It's literally the super mega stuff. It's the same. What the fuck? I was at my dream job, and they spoke to me like I was nothing. I can't express to you how worthless I felt. They seem to hire young people who don't know any better for some roles, and then get away with this over and over. Do they just have a garbage bin at Linus Media Group filled with the limbs of interns? Yeah, this was my dream job. I latched on. By the way, they always make you feel like the only reason you have anything is because they give it to you and you couldn't have just succeeded on your own, which is what she's saying about herself. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I don't doubt that that could be true, Sarah, because like what I'm saying overall is like there's clearly a bunch of broken, fucked up things at LMG, maybe even beyond issues that impact videos. I wouldn't be surprised if there were some fucked up practices and whatnot. However, this nice lady is not the window into that the world needs, and it feels to me like she's just going to make people sympathetic towards them by how crazy she comes off. The leaked audio? Osrid. I did not hear of leaked audio. Leaked audio of what? Is it going to be Limbo of the Law? This was recorded in 2021, shortly after Madison left. Okay. What if... Hey, maybe Madison vindicated. I don't know what this is. 4 minutes? 4 minutes, juicy, surreptitiously recorded HR meeting. Maybe, look, this lady could be vindicated. This lady could be vindicated. There is an HR meeting from shortly after she was, wait, was she fired or did she leave? I don't remember her saying. She quit. She does say she quit at the top. This is an HR meeting shortly after she left. Secretly recorded.
So we called this meeting because it's come to our attention that we need to have a quick chat about the best way to handle HR-related feedback and rumors.
Oh,
we won't be giving any names for what I hope are extraordinarily obvious reasons, but what we can do is give you the following guidelines for problem solving and conflict resolution. Sorry that this is all boring and corporate, but here we are. Number one, always stand up for what's right. We're only a team as long as we're all working together and looking out for each other.
I hate them again. I hate them again. This is cringe. Madison made them sound based as fuck. This makes them sound like the Power Rangers.
Number two, always reflect on your own personal experiences and use your common sense. Few things in life are truly black and white. Number three, always wait to hear both sides of a story before passing your own judgment. Be cautious when you know that one side is bound by legal and ethical disclosure guidelines when the other is not. Carefully consider what it says about the character of someone who would engage in that type of gossip against someone who has no power to defend themselves.
Shut the fuck up. That is cringe as hell. Wait, someone agrees to be gagged, and that is supposed to gag the rest of the world too? Regarding them? No, that's your burden. Fuck that.
Number four, always encourage openness and transparency.
Except for people who have signed a contract and make money, I guess.
If you have a problem, you need to speak up. We want to fix it. If you receive feedback about somebody else at this company, the first response is, have you spoken with this person? Followed closely by, you need to speak with this person.
Oh yeah, for sure, Bunny. However, it's still fucking cancer. It's still insane cancer. However, it also is adopted by people outside of corporate environments when you have, let's say, corpo-tubers suggesting this as a way of life to their audience or promoting this attitude.
We don't solve interpersonal issues here, or really anywhere in your life if you wish to live in a drama-free
I don't mean this, because this is obviously a leak. They never intended this to be for their audience. But like, consider what Linus was saying to Gamers Nexus about how, oh, you should have done this privately. You shouldn't have, you should have considered relationships and not just said this stuff about us, whatever. It's like, no, your fucking problem. It's of public interest to have that stuff aired. Too fucking bad.
By engaging in water cooler politicking. So if for any reason that individual is not comfortable approaching the person they're having a conflict with, we have a chain that they're supposed to follow.
Okay.
So first, you advise them to take the problem to their manager, followed by me or Yvonne, followed by our third-party HR firm.
Not Mary Vaughn. That's me or Yvonne. So you either go to your direct manager, Linus or his wife, and then as a last resort, third-party HR.
I hope that you all trust that we're here to make this a safe, fun, and productive workplace, and we won't tolerate mistreatment of any of our team members. If you have any reason to believe otherwise, then I refer you again to point number 4, which is to address the issue with the individual directly, or bring it to me or Yvonne, or bring it to our third-party.
This leak, I think, is good for them. Because the stuff in it that's weird is like stuff you already knew and stuff you would already expect. And is like corpo shit. However, what this really does is it tells you there was some sort of issue with Madison, but following her leaving, they addressed the sort of thing. Like, she left a Glassdoor review talking about there was no HR chain, it wasn't clear. They clearly got that feedback either via Glassdoor or from her directly, and when she left, they did this. This leak is good for them.
Since I'm not at liberty to share any details about what occurred, all I can do is ask that you trust me and Yvonne. Some of you know us very well and have been here a very long time. Some of you have not been here for as long, but I like to think that whether you've been here for 9 years or 9 days, you're here for a reason, and you believe that we do our utmost to run this company with integrity and compassion. We can't solve problems we don't know about, though. So on that note, I'd like to invite anyone.
Bro, they're going to come back from this week of not making videos and they're going to announce, okay, so I figured out how we can straighten everything up. Did you know that some retailers, some stores like Walmart, every day they get the employees to come in and they have to sing a loyalty song? Well, we've got our own and we're going to share it with you.
Has concerns about a fellow team member or about a manager to submit their feedback either by speaking with their manager, with me or Yvonne directly, or if you would prefer to provide your feedback anonymously, we have an option for that as well. It's the manager and coworker feedback form. Yvonne, if you're not aware of it, show of hands who is not aware of it. Okay, a lot of people aren't aware of it. Good. So now we all know there's an anonymous form. If for whatever reason you're not comfortable.
Yeah, this feels like a response to Madison's criticism at the time. They're doing it. They did it.
And that's fine. We understand. That's why we have these options. Yvonne's going to post it in the general chat. It's a just safe space to provide us ideas for improvement, or if you're consumed by the holiday spirit and you want to say nice things, you can do that too. Does anybody else have any questions? Not a single question? Wow, that must have been a really good speech.
You gonna dance on that table or just stand on it?
That's it. So, Yvonne, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Somebody sent to me your fruit baskets. If you guys want to sanitize your hands and help yourself, you're free to do that.
I have no idea.
Yeah, that was actually just totally random timing. It came up the stairs a moment ago. Dennis is on it. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful.
Okay, what are people saying about this? Asking the victim to address the issue with the perpetrator directly is not effective in situations. That sounds like a good point, but they didn't. They talked about a chain, and they didn't. Did they not say you skip that part if that's not on? Because the issue you have with someone isn't necessarily a perpetrator-victim issue in the right. It could be like shit rubbing you the wrong way, someone repeatedly doing something you don't like. It could be just like, hey, you know, could you eat your smelly food away from the desk? Or something. That's reasonable to be like, first course of action, just deal with them, whatever. And I think they even addressed if you don't feel comfortable confronting them, give that part, so whatever. And what did Modern Scholar 02 say? My problem with this is the company was shocked at allegations line that is being trotted out by LMG. We haven't gotten to that yet. I haven't seen that. We'll get to that. Let me finish reading Madison's tweets. We will get to the Linus Tech Tips post. Here's the thing. I've set this up as a true react. I'm pretty much blind. That means if there are twists, we'll hit the twists, right? There are so many more stories of horrible things and shows of ego that I witnessed while working there, but I just needed to get out at least some of what I experienced, because it has been 2 years, and every day I see people speculate is another day I'm forced to feel small. Shut up. Also meant to add, yes, that Glassdoor review was me. It was at the time the only way I felt I could safely express anything that had happened, since any time I had previously tried, I would be crucified by fans sticking up for who I loved. The things said by Linus about talking to management and HR and promises about how things are handled internally were a gross misrepresentation of what actually goes on behind those doors. I remember he posted this in response to people speculating something wrong had happened to me. Oh yeah, fans, for sure. And if you read it, it pretty much says, heh, no one has come out against us, therefore we've done it wrong. For obvious reasons, there won't be an official statement disclosing private details about my dealings with any of our current or former staff. You and Reddit can stop asking. On a separate note, no NDA or other agreement can prevent a Canadian from reporting workplace mistreatment, including but not limited to harassment, discrimination, and unlawful action. They can post it publicly, submit a statement to the authorities, or do both. As long as it was true, it wouldn't be defamatory. If I'm ever actually accused of a crime or other misdemeanor, including any violation of employment law, I'm sure you'll be able to read about it on Dexerto. When I read this, I was fuming. It is smart to do it now, though. People probably care less about the details than just that it's anti-Linus Tech Tips. Look, yeah, fuck Linus Tech Tips. I'm not gonna watch their shit. Fuck off. But also, this is questionable. I think that's fine. I'll minimize the amount of time it's on screen because I think the context probably makes it okay. When I read this, I was feeling with upset because what a dick thing to post when you were at least partially aware of the treatment your employee was getting from your higher-ups. But I don't know what I expected from someone who would mock others for not knowing who they were. I was asked about my sexual history, my boyfriend's sexual history, how I liked to fuck. By who? I was told that certain issues were sexual tension and I should just take the coworker out on a coffee date to ease it out. I was asked to twerk for a coworker at one point. I was told I was chunky, fat, ugly, stupid. I was called retarded. I was called an awful meatball served in the UK. At any point I would bring up these comments, I would get told, oh, we will have a chat with them. Nothing ever came of it. Maybe this was Linus's hard R's. Maybe he used them on her. The day I handed in my notice was when someone who constantly overstepped me, misled me about what I was working on, I presume she means, and who I was. What? The day I handed in my notice was when someone who constantly overstepped me, misled what I was working on and who I was, said to me, misled what I was working on and who I was. I don't fucking know. I think the reason you tried to be funny is because you lack any other skills. Smiled, then walked away. Fuck. Jesus Christ! I quit 15 minutes later. As Linus pointed out, truth is a defense against defamation in many developed countries. It hurts when people compare where I am now to where I was then because, yeah, I had a bigger audience. Yeah, I made more money on Twitch. It hurts because I have less money. True. Honest. True. But I didn't know if I wanted to even exist if the person I had looked up to could treat me and other people I respected like prawns. It sucks because that was what I had worked for years. I had tried to get noticed by this big company and this cool guy I respected. How old are you? You've got to be like 20 at this point. How old is Madison? Madison Tech Tips age. That's like baby level. Whatever. I was also the one tasked with managing the OnlyFans account. What? I don't know about this one. Something I said I didn't want to do. I had to read comments from people talking about how they wanted to fuck me and my coworkers. I saw people's dicks and vaginas. I said no and was told only a little longer. Right. Be more... Why does it become so insanely vague? I saw people's dicks and vaginas. Like, as part of the job, is it actually... Do they actually post nudie pics? Do you mean randoms sent you dick pics into the inbox? Or can you send messages to accounts on OnlyFans? OnlyFans has a messaging feature. So what she's saying is people sent dick pics to the LTT OnlyFans using the messaging system. If you want to say that I'm just hopping on a bandwagon, that's true. That's fine. It doesn't take away the very real, not just real, more real experiences I had, whether sharing these without current events would have gotten me persecuted for attacking a company, most of you until a few days ago. All was perfect. Suck my ass. I thought they made a funny video with high refresh rate monitors, okay? They also forced me to have them as my representation if I wanted to take any sponsors from my Twitch or YouTube channels. Originally, I'd been told just to make sure you okay things by us for non-compete issues. The other thing that happened was like, they probably should have told her if she asked. This was like, okay, Madison, what if they were just like, no, they could be a sponsor for us. No, non-compete. Nope, stop, nope. What if they just said no to everything on those terms? I don't think that makes a material difference. Then that changed when I moved to take the job. To be clear, this meant I couldn't seek any companies to represent me, brands for sponsorships. Something important for making a living on Twitch or YouTube. Above a certain side, you need that size, you need that stuff. I guess she does. To make a living her size. While she was working with them? Is she in the territory of an agency being needed? Because this... Okay, so this isn't she can't take sponsorships, this is she can't have an agency or third party. LTT wasn't doing this for me. They were just going to take any traffic I gained myself, make a deal, and take a cut. Take any traffic I gained myself. That would be doing it for you. That's what your agent would do. What do you mean? This tweet is bizarre to me. She couldn't seek any companies to represent her to a brand for a sponsorship. Okay. So like you have an agent who's going to take a cut, right? And they get you the good deals, and in return they take a cut. LTT wasn't going to do that for me. Instead, they were going to make deals for me and take a cut of that. That's... What the fuck do you mean? They're not going to do that. They are going to do that. What are you talking about? I eventually got all the money back that they would have taken when I called out that their calculations for the cut they should have been taking were being made before any sort of supplies were reimbursed. Okay, so they fucked up and they gave it to you back. Even though in the contracts there was a set-aside amount for supplies. Okay. That counts towards their incompetence and fuckery. That's another one to the pile. I'm still angry that for a year I was being forced to sit under them while they weren't doing anything a company would do to really represent. And then somehow a big corporation gets the math wrong on how they should be paying you. Yeah, they're huge fuck-ups and trash and not serious people. She averaged 300 Twitch viewers in 2021? That is like use Stream Elements self-serve level. That is rep yourself level. What do you mean? You're not... If you're that small, and I'm even smaller, of course, if you're that small, you're still in the territory where it's always going to be better to have an agent. It's probably better to go direct with a lower success rate or use a self-serve sponsorship option, right? Because if you're using an agent, would an agent rep you at 300 viewers? And it be worth it for you? I don't know. I honestly don't know. That seems like so small that it wouldn't be worthwhile for an agent without taking a huge cut. Sue up on Twitch? Okay, alright. Last month, she streamed and the VOD got 1.3k views. 21 days ago, she streamed and the VOD got 1.7k. 2 weeks ago, she got 2.7k views. 6 days ago, she got 36,000 views. I think everyone came to see this. Okay, that makes sense, Skolsky. Keep you on the roster hoping you become big. Yeah, it makes sense that an agent might scout you. She would like a gift of what looks like Soylent. No, it's airbrush latex. Never mind. He has a YouTube channel. Seems to be like 10 to 20k regularly with some breakouts. I don't think Linus Media Group was scared of her breaking out and, overtaking them using company secrets. Okay. I.e., a company is paying you $600 and $100 they are giving you specifically to spend on their platform for the content. The cut LTT was trying to take was of the total $700, not the $600 that was the actual payment. I had to talk to multiple people before this was rectified. Yeah, that sounds like just a mistake or something. Right to point it out, but it's the thing where she alleges inappropriate grabbing, threatened with being fired for mentioning inappropriate grabbing, and then most of it's like, they fucked up the cut representing me, blah, 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 blah. You have nukes. Unless the grabbing is like shoulder grabs or something, you have nukes. Also, apparently some managers didn't like me because I hadn't gotten drunk with them before, which was said in that haha just joking, but actually I'm serious tone. True, also the leg slashed open. True. After I came forward about being assaulted, okay, so it stepped up from inappropriate grabbing to assault. I think she's talking about the same thing. Maybe. But why would she just call it inappropriate grabbing? A weird categorization. Is this the assault? After I came forward about being assaulted, someone accused Linus of inappropriate contact on Twitter. He came over to my corner and started berating her, calling her insane, mentally ill, and attention seeker, and just digging into this poor woman who had felt wronged by him. Also, remember the corner I was in? People would sneak up on and try to scare me. Please, stop. Please. I was assaulted. Also, people who complain about misconduct are berated and attacked. Also, I lived in spooky jump scare corner. What the fuck is this thread? Also, I wanted a new laptop, but they gave me an old computer that was haunted and the ghost kept scaring me. Also, remember the corner I was in? People would sneak up on and try to scare me. After the incident, I was nervous about this and requested a mirror so I could see behind me. I watched coworkers get what I had asked for weeks before they did. It took 2 months to get mine. Linus Media Group took 2 months to get me my anti-jump scare mirror because I lived in Spooky Corner. Fuck me. Similar things would happen whenever I requested anything. I needed more RAM installed in my PC for months because I was expected to edit red footage. It took 5 months and a writer being kind enough to do it for me when the numerous requests I sent him were ignored or put off. I would go to management for help and get told I could handle it myself. What, like the mirror or installing RAM? Yeah, they were wrong. You probably couldn't handle installing a stick of RAM. Eventually, I was pulled into a meeting for insubordination because I had gone around the system for requesting RAM after I was ignored for months and dealing with my PC crashing and losing work daily. Gone around the system. What did you do? Why would you describe it as gone around the system? When that creates so many questions. Did you just yoink a stick? There was an incident where I requested a $15 notebook. Keep in mind I had made maybe $25 of purchase requests in my entire time working at this company, which was how long? I requested this notebook to help with my poor time management skills. Denied, you don't need it, you have lined paper. Damn, burn Linus Media Group down. True. Well, okay, Bunny, it depends. Are the purchase requests for things that become your personal property versus the RAM is just, changing company property? Also true, wait, what the fuck? Why is the notebook $15? Was it leather bound? But what did Frag say? One of her posts. It doesn't load. I can't look at Instagram. Oh no, I see it. Are you fucking serious? It lines up. She was there 2 years ago. Bro, she was there 2 years ago. Here's an example, ostensibly an example of one of her posts. A send nudes cushion. And she posted, HR is about to have a field day. 113 weeks ago, she worked there 2 years ago as the person doing all the social media posts. Oh my life. Oh my days. Presumably posted this as well. Let me see what this is. That seems like a woman's hand. Let's watch this little video.
Balls!
Oh!
Balls!
Ow. Why would you even do that?
Balls!
What are you looking for?
Balls.
Oh, I love them shaved.
Please, does anyone have anything to help with my hairy balls?
I've got just the thing.
Oh my god, is that the Manscaped?
Ostensibly, they would have... Look, you can argue, okay, this was a sponsorship. Probably they were all aware it was about to happen. However, then you can get in the argument of... And I mean, even without this, they're in a creative role that includes things with this tone. So it makes sense that outside of the content you'd expect to hear like this. And I'm not talking about her getting grabbed. I'm not saying, oh, they did jokes like this so she should get grabbed. No. I'm saying in the Glassdoor review, she talks about like off-color comments or whatever, when that was part of the work in the creative role. So it would make sense for it to also be said outside of that. I think there's an expectation of tone. I think we're almost through with Madison. Yeah. You have line paper. I was upset and responded back that this was different. I was upset that the company wouldn't buy me a $15 notebook? How would that upset you? I was upset that they said lined paper is good enough. The fuck do you mean? I was upset and responded back that this is different. No, then bam, another meeting, Madison. Why were you rude and non-communicative with this manager? I didn't mean to be. I was told no. But then I got in trouble because they said they didn't know. I was still upset. Cut to me being at my desk. She's literally describing it as a movie. Fucking hell. And I get a message saying, I did know you were still upset because you never emailed me back. They had lied in front of the big boss. To make me look bad, and worst of all, I knew if I brought this up, I would be the one getting reprimanded for tattling. There were also numerous times I would be asked why I couldn't just check up on socials or do little jobs during the weekend because it's social media, so is it really working? Imagine telling someone in 2021 social media isn't a real job. Incredibly based. Saying streaming isn't a real job is incredibly based. You're right, it isn't. It fucking rules. It's so good. It's the best job. Beyond the bounds of reality. I'm sure there will be more things I'll remember and wish I had mentioned in this thread in the coming hours. But for now, please don't attack individuals who don't actually have power at this company. Most of them are blameless or powerless to actually change anything. Also, why didn't you take legal actions? I had just quit my job, was scared shitless of this company, felt like I was worthless, and personally, I don't have millions of dollars to throw at legal fees. But otherwise, you would have gone after them. When I left, I was told they would announce I parted ways from the company on the WAN show. I said no, unless make sure you clearly state that I quit. They then never mentioned it on WAN show. Okay. Yeah, who grabbed you? Someone assaulted you. Or grabbed you inappropriately in another way. I don't know. I've heard the HR meeting recording, and please note how all the allegations that the management heard are referred to as drama. Were they? Imagine how you would feel trying to say anything when that is the exact response you would be given. However fucked they are, at that point at least, they had third-party HR. So, even if you accept they're fucked, their in-house response is fucked. They mitigated that by having third-party PR. Not PR. Sorry, holy fuck. HR. Third-party HR. They need third-party PR, but they got third-party HR. In that recording, you hear someone make inappropriate jokes. You will hear the situation be belittled. You'll also hear that there is an internal want for you to go directly to whoever wronged you and have a one-on-one chat. Yeah. Imagine someone calls you dog shit and the response you get is, oh no, go talk to them about it. It's called life, Madison. It's called every day, Madison. What the fuck do you... Imagine someone calls you dog shit, and then when you tattle, they just say go talk to them. Am I meant to be horrified? What the fuck is this? Why is that the example? She mentions inappropriate grabbing. She mentions being assaulted. Why isn't that the example here? What the fuck? But it keeps happening and there is no record of it, because you were instructed to just go talk to them, not HR, who also just so happened to be an active owner of the company. At the time, in the leak they talk about third-party HR though, so there was always that option. I'm baffled to hear about the shock of these allegations. You're not shocked that they happened, you're shocked that someone said something. You're probably shocked because you know evidence for most of these issues is scarce, so why would anyone risk their image to speak out? So, one more. Also, yeah, she hacked her leg open so she could take a sick day and not be questioned. That's insanity. This is an aside, but if you have any advice, how did you find the stomach/courage to quit? Stuck in an overworked position, but I've not managed to get the confidence to leave. Madison says, I looked for another job and finally got one. I don't know what would have happened if I hadn't started applying elsewhere. That sounds normal. Like when you have a shit job or a job, isn't that just normal? That's what I did when I didn't like working in a warehouse. Madison would die working in a warehouse, by the way. Not a good time. Linus Tech Tips, official Twitter account, regarding these allegations, said, we are taking Madison's allegations seriously. We are conducting an internal assessment alongside bringing in a third-party investigator to look into the allegations. Oh, wait. You're gonna get rain dumped on you? Tropical cyclone warning in place? What the fuck? You just had, like, the dry shit, right? You're not wrong, Chris. True. Yeah, but imagine if I had to post 3 tweets a day. Forget car parts, troll potato. I did many hours. I did many hours shifting mango chutney. It was a warehouse that stored all sorts of shit, so I'd unload different stuff every day. But the worst one was the 30 and 40 kilogram barrels of mango chutney. Just lugging that shit around and off of trucks all day. That shit fucking sucks. Alright. We are committed to publishing the findings and implementing any corrective actions that may arise due to this. Thank you for your patience, and please allow us the time necessary to be as thorough as possible in this investigation. In addition to our existing report systems, both anonymous and otherwise, we've proactively reached out internally today to encourage our team members to report any workplace bullying or harassment they might be experiencing so we can take quick, decisive actions. These allegations do not align with our company's ethics or the values we preach internally. This is very corpo, but it's also, like, true, because we saw from the leak, they explicitly say, be a good person, which doesn't really mean anything, but it's true. We aim to provide an inclusive work environment where everyone can feel comfortable and, more importantly, safe. Where is them saying they're surprised? Someone on that leak was like, oh, they're acting surprised. Is it someone who works there saying it? I don't want to scroll too much, okay? But I like this. This is good shit. Dear valued subscribers, fuck you mean we should change? You think my ego can handle that? You will forget all about this in a week or two, and continue to gobble my flawed, half-cooked videos because you love me so much. I'm entertaining, am I right? You think I care about Gamers Nexus's criticisms? I will address all of that via forum post, and not think about it for a second. My fan base will dick ride and protect me, you bozos. It's good because it's not actually a good anti-Linus meme. It's in itself cringe, but the layers of it feel good going down my throat. Well, I don't know if and where there is anything else. That last bit was kind of boring. It's just them saying what you'd expect them to say. Yeah, the cutting her leg open thing. You'd think there'd be a lot more, pardon the potential pun, you'd think there'd be a lot more meat to cutting her leg open. She just drops it. And then you mutilated yourself. You mutilated yourself believing it was your only way to get a day off. Are we the only people who think that's a big, insane fucking deal? Are we the only people on the net who think that is unbelievably wild? Or do people just have to go, oh no, you mentioned something that might be groping, so everything you say is good and true and reasonable. Bizarre. This slave thing, true. He announced he was hired without her consent. I love the Linus enslaved me tweet. So fucking good. What in the hell? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we had some cringe posted on the internet by this lady, and I think we're gonna transition over to a different kind of cringe.